Only 12% of people who witness a violent confrontation ever step in to stop it. 12%. Marcus Hale was one of them, and it almost destroyed his life. This is a letter. It was written by a 61-year-old man named Marcus Hale, sitting at a kitchen table in Dillon Creek, Ohio, a town so small the hardware store on Main Street doubles as the post office. He wrote it to no one in particular, maybe to himself, maybe to the men who came for him that night outside Patty's diner. Marcus has one distinguishing feature most people notice right away: his left hand. 3 fingers, not 5, a souvenir, he says, from Fallujah. He never explains further. He doesn't need to. He reads the letter out loud now. This is his voice. To whoever finds this worth reading. I have lived in Dillon Creek for 11 years. I came here because it was quiet. I came here because the sound of a church bell at dusk does not sound like anything except a church bell. That matters more than people know. I am not a complicated man. I wake up at 5. I walk 2 miles down Birch Road while the leaves are still orange and the air still carries a bite. I eat breakfast at Patty's diner every Tuesday and Thursday, sitting at the counter with the laminated menus that have not changed since 2009. I order the same thing: 2 eggs, wheat toast, black coffee. On the morning of October 14th, a Tuesday, I sat at that counter when the trouble started. It began with a young woman named Callie, 22 years old, dark hair pulled back, a bruise already yellowing under her left eye. She was a waitress at Patty's. She had worked there since she was 17. The man who walked in was named Garrett, 38, thick neck, wearing a construction jacket with a torn sleeve. He had been Callie's boyfriend for 8 months. Dillon Creek is small. Marcus knew the outline of the story even before Garrett crossed the threshold. Garrett sat down 2 stools away from me. He did not order anything. He looked at Callie with the kind of look I have only ever seen on men who have already decided what they are going to do. I recognized it. I spent years learning to read that look in places where reading it correctly was the difference between living and not. I said nothing at first. I drank my coffee. Then Garrett reached across the counter and grabbed Callie's wrist. She said very quietly, "Please don't do this here." He said nothing. He pulled. I put down my cup. What Marcus did next took 4 seconds. He stood. He placed one hand on Garrett's shoulder. He leaned close and said something. No one at the counter heard exactly what. Patty herself, 67 years old with silver hair cut short, said later that Marcus's voice was barely above a whisper. Garrett let go. He looked at Marcus. Something passed over his face. He sat very still. Marcus returned to his stool and picked up his coffee. Callie exhaled. I thought that was the end of it. It usually is. Most men, when they understand who they are speaking to, make a different calculation. Garrett made a different one. He left the diner. He came back 40 minutes later with 2 men I did not recognize. Large men. They stood outside the plate glass window and pointed at me. Then Garrett came inside. He said, "Old man, come outside." I finished my toast. I folded my napkin. I left $2 on the counter for Callie. I went outside. The street was quiet. Autumn leaves scraped along the sidewalk in a dry wind. The church on the corner had not yet rung its evening bell. 3 men stood in the parking lot of Patty's diner, and one 61-year-old man with 3 fingers on his left hand walked toward them without hurrying. Marcus says in the letter that he did not feel afraid. He says he felt something closer to tired, not of them, of the whole pattern, of how human beings keep arriving at the same parking lots with the same expressions. Garrett said something I will not repeat. One of the other men stepped forward. I said, clearly and without any drama, "I need you to understand something before this goes further. I am a Marine. I have been trained in combat for decades. I am telling you this not to frighten you. I am telling you so that what happens next is a choice you are making with full information." Garrett laughed. The second man laughed. The third man did not laugh. He looked at my hand. He looked at my eyes. He put his hand on Garrett's arm and said something quiet. Garrett stopped laughing. They stood there for another moment. The wind moved the leaves. The church bell rang once, twice, 3 times. Then they got in the truck and left. Marcus stood in the parking lot for a while after, alone. The amber light of the diner fell across the sidewalk. He could hear Patty laughing at something inside. He did not feel victorious. He does not say that in the letter. He does not need to. I walked home down Birch Road. The leaves were coming down heavy now, the red ones and the gold ones covering the sidewalk completely in some places. I thought about the third man, the one who looked at my hand and went quiet. I do not know his name, I will never know his name. But I think about what happened in that parking lot, and I keep arriving at the same place. It was not my warning that stopped them. It was that third man, standing still, doing the math, making a different choice. There is more combat in a quiet moment than in any strike I was ever trained to throw. I want to be honest about that. Marcus still eats at Patty's every Tuesday and Thursday. He still orders 2 eggs, wheat toast, black coffee. Callie still works the counter. She says he tips well and doesn't talk much. On cold mornings, if you are there early enough, you might see him through the window, sitting with his 3-fingered hand wrapped around a warm mug, watching the Main Street traffic go by with the particular patience of someone who has already seen every kind of storm and knows exactly what follows them. If this story moved you, if it made you stop and think even for a moment, please hit the like button and let us know in the comments what stayed with you. We read every single one. And if you want more stories like this, real, human, and quietly unforgettable, subscribe and follow to Soul Relief Stories. A new story is waiting for you every day.